Hello, officials, and welcome to another week of football training for the Wyoming High School Activities Association. This is Tyler Spear, your state coordinator of football officials. I have a few clips for us today, four in fact, and we're going to focus on a little bit of everything, some rules information, some mechanics as well, that type of a thing. So we'll go ahead, we'll jump right into it. My thanks again to these crews and officials for their willingness to have their film studied and reviewed. We all get better thanks to your willingness to do so. All righty, first play here. And we have 1st and 10. It's actually the start of a new series after a turnover. And one of the things that I think is important to remember when we talk mechanically about things is what are those fundamental things that we've got to make sure that we have each down, and the start of a series is a great place to catch this stuff. And one of those, and this formation really highlights it, is making sure that we've got 5 linemen numbered 50 to 79. And this formation, I'm going to just go ahead and let it go, and I'll pause it in pieces here. So the huddle breaks, and there's 11 on the formation. But if you check it out here, you can see that my man 72 comes out, checks with the wing guy, and is on the line. When we stop here and look at this formation is legal because 6 is on the line, 72 is on the line. You have 3 receivers, the QB by himself, and then the opposite receivers on the line. And so we only have 4 in the backfield. Nobody's covered up. And quite the interesting formation here. And of course, 72 is out on an island, which should obviously be an alert for us. But the rest of the formation is still legal as long as we've still got 4 more dudes in here that are numbered 50 to 79. And they do it. It comes a little quick. I'll stop. I'll rewind it and stop, pause it. We got to make sure that everybody's set for a count. And let's see how we do here. But all this to say, just because a formation is funky doesn't mean it's illegal, but also it just makes us it causes us to need to be sharp with all of our mechanics. And so if we let this go, everybody's set for a count. Sometimes people say a full second, sometimes people say a count. And I think that, it's about making it legal here. Let's see where our touchdown receiver comes from. But I do think that even though it's a little wonky, we still have a good formation and a good play here. So one more time through. And it's that wing back right up the middle. Good formation. My back judge, you know what I'm going to say. Killing me here, Smalls. Stay right on the goal line. That's your goal line. But and then good turn to look at the dead ball action there. So again, even though the formation's weird, let's cling to those principles that guide us on every other scrimmage down here. So good formation, but let's make sure the numbering exception's covered. The receiver comes from a legal position, and that we're set for a count here. All right. We'll go to the next play here. And we have field goal mechanics. So here we are. It's 4th down and double sticks. We're on the 18-yard line, it looks like. And from this formation, what you'll see is that the line judge has dropped, which is proper per the mechanic. Remember, whichever wing is facing the holder of the snap. So whichever wing is facing here, or if you really want to have some fun, whichever wing is looking at his referee's ample posterior, that's the wing that goes underneath on this. Sometimes it's nice, I will say, for the umpire to maybe shade just a little bit to this side since there is a gap over on that side of the formation. Something to think about there. The other reminder here that is super important is that our head linesman in this case has the entirety of the 18-yard line. And I know that drawing looks kind of funky because of the way the film angle is, but for the H, you have the entirety of this line as it relates to both false start and encroachment. The R and the U can help a touch on perhaps false start, but encroachment's really going to be on you. So make sure where you've got all of this sea of humanity here right on the line of scrimmage that you don't have an encroachment foul, and get to where you can see all of that, okay? So we let the play go. Referee, I like your spot. Perhaps you could be a little flatter, maybe just a touch more over here, but that's okay. I mean, that's a preference thing more than a mechanic thing. For the referee, make sure that you can see a clean snap as best you can, but then obviously your eyes are affixed on the holder and the kicker. So just make sure you have the angle you need to see those things. Referee has great discipline not to leave the kick until the play's over and he can get information. That's good discipline there. You don't want to look away from your kicker and holder in that mess too soon. Obviously, there's lots of traffic there. Before we let this go, I see a nice clean sideline up at the top of the screen. You got some players peeking outside the 25, but that's not anything to lose sleep over. On the bottom here, we got a couple people creeping. That's going to be natural just because we don't have a wing official on that side. Again, this is not something worth worrying about. Umpires stay with the mess a little longer in the middle. That is one thing that I see a little bit of a turn here, a little quick. You know, all of the bodies are still right there. So stay with that dead ball action. And our head linesman, good job dead ball officiating as well. So when we look at field goal mechanics, obviously one of the big things is we got to remember that the ball is live. If it helps with your discipline, even turn your whistle backwards on your hand, or, you know, put it in your shirt pocket if you have to, just to keep yourself disciplined. This is prime time for a IW, and we don't need that. The biggest thing here is just maintain the eye discipline. We really don't have anybody hurdling. We have a pretty good pile push, but I don't see anything that looks like a hurdling or an unnecessary, you know, we can't use the word leverage because that's not in the book, but a leverage situation. You see the guy come in almost contacting the ball, and it's good that the R stayed on that. And ultimately we stay with it. And then at the last little bit, when bodies separate, then we can use our mechanic and communicate the result of the play. Depending on where this kick became dead, likely we're going to start at the 20 for a touchback. But it is still a live ball and is still treated like a scrimmage kick. So in your pre-games this week, make sure you are discussing such things and how we're going to cover those situations. All right. The next play we're going to go to here is a couple plays back to back. But this first one is a little more important here. And it deals with reverse goal line and the potential for a safety. We're on the 7. It's third and a good distance, third and call it 12. And the 5 is tough, or the 7 is tough because reverse goal line isn't automatic here. It's maybe a little slower, but we still need to be mindful of that. So I'll let this play go, and you'll see pretty quickly why we talk about that, because the fly motion has instant contact and we end up right in a bad spot. Our wing official here, it's a tough go. Probably get back a little faster and have an opinion on where this contact was initiated. And as we slow it down, obviously the fly motion happens at the 3. He gets spun around about the 2, and then we have the progress stopped and this tackle in the end zone. And as you might imagine, the defense is going to be looking for a safety here. But it's important to remember the principle of forward progress and things like that to see what happens in this play. And there at the end, I'll let it go through and I'll see if I can stop it. You'll see the LJ come in, and I wouldn't say crew save, but certainly give meaningful information to the crew on the result of this play. And so both wings, this is something super important, because whenever the money line is in play, both forwards or backwards, we need to have an opinion here. And so I think we'd agree that progress was stopped before the player entered the end zone, but we need to have an opinion on that. Again, when we read the play, our tackle, and then onto the play, when we read that it's going backwards, we need to get to that money line and officiate out. And that's hard from the 7, but we got to get there and work that direction. Still think the crew got it right, though. And just so that you can see that maybe the football gods don't lie too awful much. So now we're on the 2. It's a 4th down, and the punt ends up on CY Avenue or whatever that street is back there. So the play results in a safety anyways. So again, though, in this situation, it's pretty clear, and the R makes the signal. The R is also in the right position. Wing officials, this is tough because it's still a 4th down, so we have kind of wonky responsibilities here. We're responsible for the goal line. The L down here at the bottom still needs to release on a clean snap because it's a punt formation thing. The H, you're kind of stuck because you've got to cover both the money line, but you also have to stay put because you rule on whether the kick has crossed the expanded neutral zone. So again, kind of a tough situation to cover when you got multiple important lines in play. And I would just say again, pregame this stuff, talk about it situationally, who's covering what, so that at least we have an opinion where it matters. I think that's the important thing for these clips this week. Okay, last one, and we're going to the other end of the equation. Less than a minute to go. The team ahead has the ball. You read it in the weekly email, but I just wanted to show you a video example of it. This game was a nut cutter. We had emotions running high. And as I let this play go, what you'll see is QB1 doing whatever it is that he decides to do. And just as a friendly reminder, and this is another reason for this, white hats, when you're working with a team and they've decided to go into the victory formation, just take that extra second and remind your QB1 that as soon as he gets the snap, he is to go straight down. There's not, I mean, again, the rule does not state that they have to go straight down. This is one of those preventative officiating moments because nothing good can happen with this play being prolonged. We're already under 40 seconds when this starts. So the play clock's dead. There is no play clock. And we have players with high emotions, bull rushing, chasing, tackling, all the things. You know, nothing major happens, but as you might imagine, this is still super problematic. And so, and I think this R does eventually just shut it down, and that's the right call. I mean, as soon as he finishes up that, kill it there and just let it, and then just shut it down, right? Don't let this go. But obviously, anytime, just remind those players, the QB1 or whoever the snap receiver is, to go straight down in this victory formation because nothing good can happen from this. It just leaves a sour taste in people's mouths. So, well, officials, that's what I've got for you this week. Hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully these are things that you can talk about in the car on the ride to your game sites this week. Pack the woolies. It looks like it's going to be a cold one. Pack the extra set of socks because it could be a little wet in some of the places we're at. So stay warm this week. Stay safe this week. And as always, thank you for all that you do. And don't hesitate to send me plays, situations, rule questions. We just love digging into that stuff. And make sure and share these videos out. Tongue in cheek, I say like and subscribe for more content like this. And you all just roll your eyes at me. But again, thanks for your time. This is Tyler Spear, State Coordinator of Football Officials, signing off.